Hi, we're going to talk about percent by volume. So this is another form of concentration. Percent by volume means if we look at the entire volume of a solution, so how much space this takes up, we're wondering, well, of that volume that's being taken up, how much of the volume belongs to really the solute, or how much volume belongs to the solvent? But we usually look with respect to the solute. Here's your formula. Percent volume equals the volume of the solute divided by volume of solution. And you see this same pattern a lot. Actually, in all of our concentrations, it's divided by the volume, or it's divided by solution. The only exception to that is molality. And if you need to watch that video, watch the video on molality. Now, to make it a percent, simply multiply it by 100. Now, I want to remind you, when we talk about solution, that simply means solute plus solvent. And you'll recall that the solute is what gets dissolved, like table salt, and the solvent is what does the dissolving, like water, when we dissolve salt in water. The salt is the solute, the solvent is the water. So I have two examples for you here. Our first one is, let's say that we have 35 mils of ethanol, and we are going to dissolve that in 155 mils of water. And I want to know what is the percent volume of the ethanol, so it's always going to be for the solute, in this solution. So let's go ahead and begin our formula. The percent volume is going to be the solute right there. So it will be 35 mils of the ethanol. Now write down ethanol just to be really explicit so you see that solute, divided by total solution. Now be careful, this is where students will make a mistake. They'll divide by 155. But remember, that's the mils of the solvent. We have to add the solute plus the solvent. So this would be 35 mils, there's the solute, plus the 155 mils, that's the solvent. And that right there is the total solution. Then we will multiply that by 100, and our answer on this is 18%. So we're going to have 18% by volume. So let's say that our container looks this big. 18%, so maybe about a fifth of it, 18% of that volume is the ethanol. Where I'm at is the ethanol right here, which tells us the other 72% of that total volume is the water. And the total 100% is the mixture of the solute and the solvent. Okay, this one, not quite as straightforward. The question says we have 18 mils of methanol and a 15% by volume solution. And we want to know, well, what's the total volume of the solution? So let's plug it into what we have right here, our equation. We're going to have now 15%. I'm going to go ahead and change this to a decimal. I'm simply going to divide by 100, and that gives me 0.15. And again, I just did 15 divided by 100 gives me 0.15. That's the percent divided by 100 gives me my decimal. So that decimal right there is going to equal the volume of the solute. Well, we've got that 18 mils divided by the total volume of the solution. And I'll put a note right here. That's going to be for the whole solution. So if we go, I'm going to go ahead and multiply both sides by x. We'll get 0.15 times x equals 18 mils divided by 0.15. Notice the x cancels there and the 0.15 cancels here. We do that math, 18 divided by 0.15, and our answer is, so x equals 120. Okay, now think about that for just a second. Come back to the original question, the way we set up our formula, this part right here. What did we just find? 120 what? It's 120 mils, and that's of the solution. Now let's take it a step further. What if we asked, well, what was the volume of water that was added to the 18 mils? Come back to this. The solute was 18 mils. The solution is 120 mils. Just subtract that, and that means that we added 102 mils of water to get a total of the 120 if we added 102. So there would have been 102 mils of water. Okay, nice. The key on all of these is going to be breaking apart that fraction. The The percent volume in this case is volume solute divided by volume of the solution. Always break apart the fraction, and then you can plug it in and use it like a formula. You'll be good to go. Lots and lots of videos in solutions. If you have questions, go to the playlist for solutions on Lean Think. Good job. Have a nice day.